Well, the president making his third visit to Ohio this year, taking his new $447 billion jobs bill with him and his plan to pay for it. A lot of tax hikes, not much only spending cuts. To Republican Congressman from Ohio, Jim Jordan. Congressman, I understand, I can read the math, certainly in the House it would be dead on arrival. So what do you guys do to counter it? Because whatever you do has to get to the Democratic-controlled Senate and signed off on by a Democratic president. So not likely. So for 14 months, are we just sitting in cement?
Well, I think you make the case to the American people. You do what works. And we know that, a second stimulus is not going to work. It didn't work the first time. More taxes, more spending, and sending the bill to the super committee is not the answer.
What about the payroll tax cut part of it? He's obviously trying to entice you with that. Is that enough?
Right. Well, I think it depends on what else is in the package. Are we really going to cut corporate rates? Are we going to lower the rates for the job creators, for all Americans, and really reduce the tax burden and provide some certainty, which is the word. Everyone tells me when I'm out and about in our district, when I'm out and about in Ohio, the job creators want real certainty. They want to know what the lay of the land is. We just had a hearing today on this very issue, and our panel of experts said that if you keep increasing regulation and you keep having, quote, temporary fixes, you're never going to address the underlying problem, which is the uncertainty that exists in our market today, the uncertainty that every small business owner faces, whether it's, when is Obamacare going to be fully implemented? Are we going to be able to repeal it? And a host of other things. So that's the underlying problem. And our job is to take the case of the American people and say, let's don't put some deal together, haggle some deal together with more spending and more taxes that we know is not going to work.
No, I understand that, Congress. You taking your case to the people, the president's taking his case to the people, and now it's like a Mexican standoff here. You've each taken your case. He has a bigger bullhorn because he's the president.
Right.
But I don't see, and I'd love to be proven wrong, but I don't see much progress in the interim. So this is kind of where we're locked. Am I right?
He can because he can keep taking this case to the American people, but the American people already know it doesn't work because it didn't work 2 years ago. So we've got to tell them what does work, which is tax cuts for the small business owners out there, lowering the rates, reforming the code, and getting, I like Senator Johnson's bill, moratorium on any new regulation. Just don't scare business people anymore. Something like that. The president's backed off some regulations already. So embracing something like that would send a strong message to job creators in our economy. Maybe that's something we can work with him on. Maybe the corporate tax, reducing the corporate tax rate that he gave in his speech last week, that he talked about in his speech. Maybe that's something we can come to agreement on. Those are the kind of things we should focus on. Because to do the same old plan, the American people already know that doesn't work. That's why we got 9% unemployment.
But do you think he's trying to push you, or maybe him, into another near shutdown when we have another budget impasse issue, and that he could say, I'm trying, these guys are fighting?
I mean, maybe, many pundits have said that, it was a political speech he gave last week. Look, our job is not focus on deals, not focus on politics. Let's focus on a solution. Let's actually, and frankly, I think it would have been better if the president would have came into the Congress last week when he gave his address and said, look, guys, we know things are tough out there. Let's figure out a way to work together. Instead of taking the tone he did, which was pounding his fist on the table and saying, pass this tomorrow, this is the plan, this is the only plan, no a la carte to it, you got to take the full deal. I don't know if that's necessarily the right attitude to bring either. Let's actually work on a solution to the problems that face American people and our great economy.
Has it become personal, though, that you guys don't flip over him? I always hear how these meetings go when the leadership and they meet with him and they're icy. No. He doesn't apparently flip over you. But, that's not new. These kind of things happen in Washington all the time through many presidents.
Yeah.
But that it's a particularly poisoned well this time. Is that true?
I don't think so, and it's certainly not personal with me. He's the President of the United States. He's the President of our country, the greatest country ever. It's not personal. It's just that we think his policies don't work. History has proven they don't work. Let's focus on what we know does solve the problem. It's been tried in the past. When you lower marginal rates, when you reduce the tax burden on job creators, good things happen in our economy. Not more. Neil, if big government spending, big government taxation, if that were going to solve our problem, well, for goodness sake,